Okay, hello everyone. Today we're going to start doing some different types of graphing. And we're going to start with graphing absolute value inequalities. We're going to do them for 2 days. Now, y'all, we have graphed absolute value functions. Remember, they're shaped like a V. And we have graphed in linear inequalities, where you have to shade them. Well, now we're going to put them together. Absolute value inequalities. All right, today's essential question: how do we identify the solution to an absolute value inequality? Guys, remember, an inequality, it's like an equation, except it doesn't have an equal sign. All right, it has an inequality sign. Like greater than, less than. Or these down here, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, like down here, okay? Also remember, when we graphed the linear inequalities, we had to decide whether the line was dotted or solid, and whether we should shade above or below the line. Remember, when the line was dotted if it was like less than or greater than, because the line itself was not included in the solution. It was a solid line if it said less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. It was a solid line then because the line itself, the points on the line, are included in the solution. And then remember, we shaded above or below the line. After we solved the inequality for y, on one side is y, everything else on the other side. If it pointed away from the y, we shaded above. It says y greater than. We shaded above. If it pointed toward the y, like this here, which means y less than, then we shaded below the line. Guys, well, absolute value works very similar. All right, you shade above or below the line depending on which way it points toward the y. And it's either a solid line or a dotted line, depending on if it's included in the solution. Guys, and basically, how do you solve absolute value inequalities? The same way we did with linear. You graph it. All right, every point in the shaded area, once you graph it, is a solution to the inequality. Any point in the shaded area makes the inequality true. Guys, you can solve it algebraically as well, using algebra. But we're going to do it graphing, okay? Also, just to review, guys, to graph the absolute value function itself, you have to find the vertex. And remember, they'll be in this form right here. We looked at this before, the HK. All right, H moves the graph left and right, and K moves the graph up and down. The same thing we've been doing. And A makes the graph wider, thinner, or flips it upside down, okay? The A is kind of like the slope in absolute value. It's kind of like a slope. All right, so remember that. This is an absolute value equation. And remember, the line for the equation is the same as in the inequality. The line for the inequality. It's just that in the inequality, sometimes the line is included and sometimes it's not. And for the inequality, you have to shade above or below. And just some quick examples. Again, this is graphing equations, just to review. All right? This 2 in the front makes the graph narrower because it goes up twice as fast, has a slope of 2. The 3 here, this -3, moves the graph 3 units to the right. And the -2 moves the graph 2 units down. Okay, that's the vertex then is at 3, -2. You need to be able to find that to graph it. Get another example. This one starts with a negative, so it's flipped upside down here. It says an upside down V. The +2 moved it 2 units to the left. And the +3 moved it 3 units up. All right, you need to find the vertex, -2, 3, in order to graph it. Guys, and once you have the lines for the inequality drawn in there, or you know where they are, you decide, is it dotted or solid? Or they're calling it here dashed. All right, and then you shade above or below, depending on if it's pointing toward the Y or away from the Y. And you can always test a point. And that's a good way to do it. And a good test point is 0, 0, because it's easy. All right? If the point 0, 0 makes this inequality true, then make sure when you shade, the 0, 0 is included in the shading. If 0, 0 makes the inequality not true, if it's not true, then you would shade in such a way that the origin is not a part of the answer. All right, guys, that's it. We'll complete the video check in class. The video check will ask the essential question and just decide about dotted or solid and shade above or below. All right, that's it. Thanks.